Welcome to the Black Wealth Creator Podcast, where we help uplift the Black community through financial education. Welcome to the podcast. And on today's lesson, I really want to talk to you about financial literacy. So you may ask, what is financial literacy? Financial literacy. First, let's break the word down. What is literacy? Literacy is simply the ability to read or write. That's all that literacy is. So when we break that word down, is financially being able to read or write. So then you look at the word financial. What does financial mean? Financial means relating to finances. Okay, that's not really clear in the picture. What are finances? So the definition of finances is money or other liquid resources of a government, business, a group, or an individual. So simply put, that is money or liquid resources. We'll talk about this when we talk about assets. In a later lesson, we'll talk about assets. But what liquid means, it does not mean like a Sprite or a bottle of water or anything. No, liquid in this instance is talking about liquidity, which is simply the ability to turn an asset into cash. How easy it is to turn an asset into cash. For instance, if we're talking about cash, which is the most liquid thing because it is cash already, that's super easy, cash to cash, we know that. But if we're talking about, let's say, a house you purchased, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, or maybe land that you own, that may be a little bit more difficult to turn to cash. I mean, it's liquid. It's a lot more liquid than some other things that we'll talk about, maybe like your 401k type plans and those things like that, like where if you really want to withdraw from it, you're going to like face a penalty and stuff like that. So it's kind of liquid, but it still might take 7 days to do it. Or like selling a house, it might take 6 months, depending on what the market is, depending on what people are saying about the house, depending on the house, how the house sells or whatever. It all depends on that. So that's what liquidity means when you hear the word liquid. That's just talking about how easy an asset can be turned into cash. So therefore, finances mean money or liquid resources that we have. And we're talking about literacy, which is the ability to read. So the definition that I kind of came up with, like when I put that all together, is the ability to read with understanding and write with clarity things that relate to money or liquid resources. And we say like things, what do you mean? I mean by like financial documents, whether it's paperwork to open a savings account, understanding, when they see those credit card statements, understanding those statements, understanding your mortgage, understanding how your mortgage payments are being paid. All of this stuff is a part of financial literacy, and you have to be able to, and all this stuff is a part of financial literacy. So that ability to read with understanding, like, okay, when I see this is how much interest they charge me this month on my car loan or on my mortgage. It's like, oh, okay, this is how much interest they charge me this month. This is how much that went towards principal. Like all of these things. And I would love to do a video on that, like breaking down a statement, like breaking down, and we'll do a video on that. And I'd love to do it. And we're going to do a video on that, breaking down like actual payment. I work in the payment industry, so I kind of get some, I understand it a little bit better, but also just being able to read your financial statement, where it's like I said, principal, interest, all that stuff, how it adds up to your payment. So that is financial literacy, the ability to read with understanding and write with clarity things. And when I say things, I mean financial documents or statements or whatever that relate to money and other liquid resources. What is the importance of financial literacy? Like, that's the big question. We can know what something is, but what is the importance of it? Like, we know what the president is, but what is his importance? Like, we know what, what the police are, but what are their, like, what's the importance of the police department, or what's the importance of these things? Or sometimes we just know random, like, what's the importance of the little thing on your shoestring? Like, it helps, go through the hole easier. So what's the importance of financial literacy? And so the importance of financial literacy, or what's the point of learning about financial literacy, is so you can make informed financial decisions. Like And I mean well-informed financial decisions. I know you've all heard the stories about the athletes who make millions of dollars, and then by the end of their career they're broke and they're working at McDonald's. Like, let's give an example. So if you make an example of a well-informed decision. So if you make $1,500 every 2 weeks, that's $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 a year. So if you're making $36,000 a year, it would not be wise to get a $90,000 car. Like, that just wouldn't be, or even a $60,000 car. Like, that just wouldn't be a well-informed financial decision. Although we do it, and when I say we, I'm not just talking about black people. I'm just talking about people in general. But I mean, as black people, like, we know we love cars, we love nice things, we love nice clothes. So so I'm just saying, like, in this podcast is geared towards black people. So it's just like, I know we might try and get a fancy car, or we might try and not really to it be to impress people. Like, you want to look good. I understand it. Like, I want to look good. We want to look good. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, we just want to make well-informed decisions, though. Decisions that will uplift our community. So that's why the purpose of the podcast, and that's the importance of financial literacy. Like, if you making $36,000 a year, let's get like a $10,000 car or $12,000 car. Pay it off, you know, like, because you need a car. Another reason to become financial literate is for the kids. Like, the kids are so important. Our next generation is so important. They are exactly that, the next generation. They're gonna carry this torch on. And I know I'm 30, so I mean, I got another, Lord's willing, I got another 60 years left on this earth, 60 plus if it be the Lord's will. So if I got another 60 years, I still can do a lot of things. Like, even with this podcast, I mean, who knows where it'll be in 10 years? It might be the best wealth building podcast, you know, hopes, you know, in the next 10 years could be the best wealth building podcast for young people or for elderly people to make it through retirement or whatever. So, but I'm just saying, like, I want to pass all the knowledge down to my daughter and to my son, or to my nieces and nephews, or to my fellow people. Like, I'm 31, so people my age, they can make big differences in this world by learning about finances. Some people are better strategically financed than I am, so they're able to make big changes, you know, and take this thing further. So that's why that's the real why for me. Like, one reason why is so you can make well-informed decisions, but also so you can pass it down to your kids, like passing it down to that next generation. Because other groups, they do it. Like, other groups, their children know how to work finances. Their children enter the world. It's like they said, like, the race isn't fair. I was watching this video one time. If I can find the link, I'll link it down below. But I was watching this video one time, and they had all these kids lined up, and you know, they all have this starting line, and then it says, take one step if you come from a 2-parent home. Take another step if you had a car when you first started learning how to drive. Take another step if you know this and that. Take another step if you have a hot plate of food and by the end of the clip, you see everybody starting from different spots. Some people starting all the way up here, and that's really why I was saying in the very first episode that wealth is whatever that individual make it to be. Like, I can't base my wealth off of someone else. Like, I can't base my wealth off of Kevin Durant, one of my favorite basketball players. But I can't base my wealth off of him, even though he grew up. Almost 7 feet tall, if not 7 feet tall, and he shoots the basketball immaculately. Like, it's amazing. But I can't base my wealth off of, like, man, he 2 years older than me. He making $500 million a year. It's like, yeah, but that's just his life. That's his testimony. But my testimony, I might just be trying to make $500,000, you know, within the next to get in my bank account. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying. That's my goal, and he making that in a check. So we have to. So we can't, like, base it, like, because we all got those different starting points, and we all got different starting points, and so we all have our vision of this is financial freedom, and this is how I'm going to pass down generational wealth. So I'm sorry, I kind of got on a rant there, but I really passionate about that, like passing it down to the kids, like passing it down, teaching them about savings, teaching them about, delayed satisfaction, because that's real. Like, if you can control the urges to spend, or control the urges to go do this just to fit in with the Joneses or to keep up with Smiths, like if you can control this, like control your emotions, that's where discipline comes in at. Like if you control your emotions, then you can really take great strides in life. And so that's why I feel like financial literacy at the earliest of ages, teaching them about the checkbook, how to balance the checkbook, how to like I said, how to read a credit card statement, what does it mean if I borrow $1,000? Like, what am I going to pay throughout the whole time if I borrow $1,000? So, and I really find that valuable, and I really find that financial literacy is super important in our society today. Down below, because I took this quiz, I'm a financial guy, so I did pretty decent on it. I got them all right, but it was some of them that I really had to think about. But down below, I put a link to a financial. It's like 6 questions, so it's not like a super long, but they really make you think. So I put in the link below. I want you to take that quiz and see where you are financially. Like, see where you like. Oh man, okay, I got 3 right. Or oh man, I got 2 right. Oh man, I got 1 right. I got 5 right. Like, and I knew what I was talking about. So, I want you to take this quiz. It's down in the down below. Click the link, go to the quiz, take it. Comment down below what your score was and what you thought you could have, like, oh man, this really tripped me up, or I didn't know about this. And then let me know what topic it was. That way I can, do a video about it, and we can just try and break it down a little bit easy, break it down further. I also link an article down below that I read about the importance of financial literacy, because I never want you to think that I'm just some guru. No, I go out and research, and I found this article. I was like, man, this is a pretty solid article. It's pretty, straightforward. So I want you to read the article if you have a chance, and I just begin to take control of your finances. Thank you for listening today. Remember, getting money is easy, but building wealth takes time and effort. Anybody can do it, especially you. Be blessed.